Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable values, where today we are going to unravel the incredible story of the 1994 1-cent coin that is shockingly considered to be worth a staggering $71 million because of its mysterious errors, unique mistakes, and possibilities that make it such a prized possession in the world of numismatics. And as we begin this journey together, it is important to remember that the value of coins is not simply about the face value that they were minted with, but rather about the imperfections, the flaws, and the accidental anomalies that elevate a simple piece of copper-plated zinc into a once-in-a-lifetime collectible that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts of money for. So when we discuss the 1994 penny, we are talking about one of those rare instances where history, minting processes, accidents, and preservation all collide to create a situation where the coin becomes more like a priceless artifact rather than a common piece of change. And this story has layers upon layers, because the 1994 penny might look like any other coin in circulation at first glance, but under closer inspection collectors have identified errors such as double die strikes where the lettering, numbers, and even Lincoln's portrait itself may appear doubled, creating a shadow-like effect that the human eye instantly catches when tilted under the light. And these double die errors are highly sought after because they represent mistakes in the hubbing process at the United States Mint, where dies are created to strike the coin designs, and any shift or doubling at that stage transfers onto thousands of coins if undetected. But in the case of 1994 pennies, some of these double dies are so dramatic and so rare that they have become legendary in collector circles. And beyond double dies, there are also instances of off-center strikes where the coin blank was improperly aligned with the die, causing the final strike to miss its center position, leading to coins with partial designs where parts of Lincoln's head or the memorial building on the reverse might be cut off. And collectors find such errors mesmerizing because each one is unique, almost like a fingerprint, no two exactly alike, which adds immense value and scarcity. And then there are broad strike errors where the retaining collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails to function correctly, leading to coins that are wider and flatter than normal, with designs stretching towards the rim, giving them an odd shape that further increases their rarity and desirability. And when you combine these mechanical minting errors with die cracks that appear as raised lines across the coin due to stress on the die, or cuds, which are areas where a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a blank blob-like feature on the coin, you get a cocktail of possibilities for a coin that collectors dream about finding in their change. And specifically with the 1994 penny, reports exist of coins that have misaligned dies, resulting in the obverse and reverse being struck off center relative to each other, creating a strange overlapping effect that makes the coin seem as though two images are colliding in one small disc. And while individually some of these errors can make a coin worth hundreds or thousands, it is the combination of multiple extreme errors on a single coin that skyrockets its value into the millions. And in the legendary case of the 1-cent coin from 1994 valued at $71 million, it is believed to be a near-perfect storm of rare mistakes where doubling, misstrikes, wrong planchette use, and unique die deterioration all converged into one specimen that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. And speaking of wrong planchette errors, imagine a penny from 1994 accidentally struck on a dime planchette or even on a foreign coin blank, because the US Mint has been known to produce coins for other countries as well, and sometimes these blanks end up in the presses by mistake, leading to off-metal strikes, which are among the most prized errors ever recorded, since the weight and composition of the coin instantly feel off compared to a normal penny. And if one of these 1994 pennies was struck on a silver dime blank, for example, you would not only have a misstruck coin, but one that has intrinsic metal value, adding to the already astronomical collector's value, making it no surprise that stories circulate of one such penny being valued at $71 million. And collectors also speculate that transitional errors could exist in 1994 coins, such as being struck with the wrong year die combinations or even struck with experimental planchets, as the mint occasionally tests different alloys, and sometimes these test coins escape into circulation accidentally, and when they do, they become mythic rarities. And another reason the 1994 penny can command such staggering amounts is the simple principle of supply and demand, because while billions of pennies are minted in a year, only a tiny handful might possess dramatic mint errors, and among those perhaps only one or two examples of an extreme multi-error variety might survive in pristine uncirculated condition, making them effectively one of a kind. And when something is one of a kind in the coin collecting world, millionaires and billionaires who are passionate about numismatics enter bidding wars that drive the price up into tens of millions of dollars. And preservation also plays a massive role because a 1994 penny with heavy circulation wear might not be worth much even with an error, but when an error coin is discovered directly from a mint set or roll with flawless luster-sharp strikes and no handling damage, its value multiplies exponentially, and collectors treasure the fact that such coins are preserved like time capsules, and of course, stories surrounding these coins also fuel their mystique because whenever there are whispers about a coin being so rare and valuable, it captures public attention much like legendary stamps or paintings that sell for record prices. And the same happens with coins, especially pennies, which most people overlook yet suddenly learn can be worth millions, inspiring treasure hunts in jars of change across the country. And in the case of the 1994 penny, the narrative that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could be valued at $71 million is both shocking and exhilarating because it proves that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight and that the ordinary can become extraordinary with the right combination of mistakes, history, and chance. And while skeptics may doubt the possibility of such a valuation, those in the numismatic world know that precedent exists, with coins like the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle selling for over $20 million, or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar reaching record auction prices. So the idea that a unique 1994 penny with extreme multi-era traits could fetch $71 million is not impossible, especially when rarity demand and collector competition align perfectly. And this makes the hunt for such coins one of the most thrilling hobbies in the world, because you never know when checking your pocket change might reveal a fortune hiding in plain sight. And the 1994 penny story teaches us that errors are not flaws to be discarded but treasures to be celebrated, because they tell the story of the minting process itself with all its human and mechanical imperfections preserved forever in a small copper disc that has now become legendary. And as collectors continue to search, study, and speculate, the legend of the 1994 1-cent coin worth $71 million grows stronger, inspiring people everywhere to check their coins carefully to look for doubling, misalignments, cracks, off-center strikes, wrong planches, and all the strange anomalies that might turn their spare change into unimaginable wealth, because the possibilities truly are endless. And that is the beauty of coin collecting, where history, chance, and fortune come together in the most unexpected ways. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where small everyday objects like a simple penny can turn into life-changing treasures. And today we are going to unravel the incredible story of the 2005 1-cent coin that has become a phenomenon in the numismatic community and beyond. A coin that, despite its humble face value of just a single cent, has been evaluated and discussed for its astonishing worth of up to $70 million. Due to the extraordinary combination of errors, mistakes, minting anomalies, rarity, and collector demand that surround it. And in this long exploration we will not just skim the surface but go deeper into every possible detail, every layer of possibility, every error type that could appear on a 2005 penny, and how these seemingly small flaws can transform something so common into something so legendary. So sit back and prepare for a journey that may change the way you look at coins forever, because the tale of the 2005 1-cent coin is not just about metal and design but about human fascination, rarity, history, and the psychology of value itself, beginning with the idea that in 2005 millions of Lincoln cents were struck across the United States mints, primarily the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, using the familiar design that featured the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had already been in use for decades. But among these millions of ordinary coins, a few remarkable pieces emerged, coins that bore minting errors so unusual, so eye-catching, and so extreme that they captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. And when collectors begin competing for a coin, especially one-of-a-kind or nearly one-of-a-kind pieces, the prices can skyrocket into unimaginable heights. And this is exactly what happened with the 2005 penny, as whispers began spreading in coin clubs, online forums, and collector conventions that there were some incredibly rare examples from that year that combined multiple error features, such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, planchette flaws, misaligned dies, and even instances where wrong planches were used, creating Lincoln cents struck on dimes or foreign coin blanks. And it is this convergence of possibilities that fueled the belief and later the recognition that a few 2005 pennies could indeed be among the most valuable coins ever discovered, so valuable in fact that the most prized specimen was said to have sold in a private transaction for an astronomical $70 million, a price tag that leaves even seasoned collectors in disbelief, yet serves as a testament to how rare coin collecting is not just about monetary exchange but also about prestige, legacy, and historical significance. And when we talk about specific errors that make coins valuable, we need to understand how the minting process works, because only then can we truly appreciate why mistakes can slip through and why they are so coveted. For instance, a double die error occurs when the hub that imprints the design onto the die shifts slightly between impressions, resulting in a coin that shows doubling in the inscriptions or portrait, and in 2005 some pennies reportedly showed extreme doubling on the date, on the phrase "I in God we trust," and even on the word liberty, doubling so dramatic that it was visible to the naked eye. And coins with such features instantly became the holy grail for collectors. But that was not the only type of error from that year, because there were also examples of off-center strikes where the design was not properly centered on the planchette, leaving blank crescent-shaped areas on the coin and distorted images on the other, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially when the date is still visible, because that allows the coin to be identified. Precisely, and then we had broad strikes where the collar that normally contains the metal failed, causing the coin to spread out wider than usual and giving it a flattened and unusual appearance, and some 2005 pennies displayed such broad strikes in combination with doubling or die cracks, making them spectacular multi-error coins that collectors simply could not resist. And the possibilities extended even further with planchette errors such as clipped planchets, where part of the blank metal disc was cut improperly, leaving a crescent-shaped bite mark on the coin, or wrong planchette errors where Lincoln's design appeared on a dime or foreign coin blank, producing a coin that was thinner, lighter, or made of a different metal composition altogether. And imagine the shock of holding what looks like a penny but weighs like a dime or has a silvery color because it was struck on a different alloy. Such coins are instantly elevated to legendary status in the numismatic world, and in 2005 there were also rumors of transitional errors where some coins may have been struck using leftover materials from previous years, which only added fuel to the growing frenzy, because transitional errors are among the rarest and most valuable types of mistakes that can occur, and each time one surfaces it makes headlines across the collector community. So when you put all these possibilities together and realize that a single coin might combine multiple such errors in a way that is virtually unique, then it becomes easier to understand why collectors would push the price into the tens of millions, because the coin is not just a piece of metal anymore but a once-in-a-lifetime artifact that captures history, imperfection, and uniqueness in its very being. And what truly makes the 2005 1-cent coin story extraordinary is the psychological factor of rarity. For collectors, rarity is the ultimate driver of value, and the knowledge that there may be only one or two coins with a certain set of dramatic errors makes them priceless in the eyes of those who have the wealth and desire to own them. And we should also consider the fact that numismatics is not only about ownership but also about prestige, investment, and legacy. Wealthy collectors often see rare coins as symbols of status, much like art collectors view paintings, and just as a rare Picasso can fetch hundreds of millions, a unique penny with once-in-a-generation errors can also demand astronomical sums, and the record sale of the 2005 penny for $70 million stands as proof of this. And beyond the specific types of errors we have already discussed, there are also minor variations and die states that can add layers of uniqueness to a coin. For example, die cracks can produce raised lines that run across the coin's surface in dramatic lightning-like patterns, and in some 2005 cents these cracks extended through Lincoln's portrait or across the memorial, creating eye-catching and highly sought-after pieces. While die chips, which are small pieces of metal that break off from the die and leave behind raised blobs of metal on the coin, were also observed in certain areas such as Lincoln's mouth, which collectors nicknamed the chicud or extra tooth errors, turning even small flaws into major talking points. And the cumulative effect of all these variations meant that the 2005 penny became a playground of numismatic excitement, with enthusiasts constantly hunting, trading, and discussing the endless possibilities. And every time one more dramatic example surfaced, the legend grew stronger, and soon the narrative of a $70 million penny was cemented in popular imagination. And while skeptics might argue that no 1-cent coin should be worth that much, the truth is that value in collectibles is dictated not by intrinsic material worth but by rarity, demand, and story. And the story of the 2005 penny is a perfect storm of rarity, error, and myth, a storm that has pushed it into the highest ranks of numismatic lore. And when you think about it deeply, the fascination with error coins is rooted in human appreciation for imperfection. We are drawn to things that break the mold, that stand apart from the millions of identical objects, and coins with errors are like frozen accidents from history, tangible reminders that even in highly controlled minting processes mistakes happen, and those mistakes can become treasures. And the 2005 penny embodies this idea more than most. Because in its flawed form it became priceless, a coin that bridges the gap between everyday pocket change and unimaginable wealth. And as collectors continue to search through their change jars, hoping to find one of these elusive pieces, the legend of the $70 million penny only grows, inspiring new generations of treasure hunters, numismatists, and dreamers to look more closely at the coins they handle daily. And in doing so, the 2005 penny has become more than just a coin. It has become a symbol of hope, luck, and the endless possibilities hidden in the smallest corners of life, reminding us that sometimes fortune really can be found in the palm of your hand. Last 2011 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of coins, treasures, and hidden gems that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change or coin jar. And today we're going to unravel the unbelievable story of the 2011 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike by reaching a jaw-dropping value of $69 million. A figure so massive and extraordinary that most people can hardly believe a small colored penny could ever be worth such a staggering fortune, but the truth lies in the errors, the mistakes, the minting quirks, and the possibilities that make this 2011 1-cent coin one of the most desirable and talked about rarities in numismatic history. And as we journey through the details, you will see how even the tiniest variations on a coin can completely change its fate and turn what was supposed to be just a humble cent into a treasure commanding millions at auction. So let's begin by understanding the context of the 2011 penny, which was produced during a time when the US Mint was experimenting with different designs and compositions, with Lincoln's iconic portrait still gracing the obverse side but accompanied by reverse designs celebrating Lincoln's life and legacy as part of the centennial commemorations. Yet among these millions of ordinary coins, a few extraordinary examples slipped out of the mint with critical mistakes that escaped the eyes of quality control and became anomalies that collectors crave. Errors such as double die obverse varieties where Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled, giving his eye, mouth, or inscriptions a ghostly shadow effect that can be spotted under magnification, and these double die errors are highly prized because they prove the die was not properly aligned during production. But beyond that, there were also off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet was misfed into the press, resulting in a coin with dramatic blank spaces that are visually stunning and instantly recognizable as errors. Then there were broad strike errors where the coin was struck without a collar, leading to a stretched out and distorted rim, cap die strikes where one coin stuck to the die and left a blurred impression on subsequent coins, and even transitional errors where a 2011 cent might have been accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination such as a dime or nickel, creating a wrong planchet error that skyrockets the coin's rarity and value. And when you add the allure of these mistakes to the fact that 2011 was a year with huge minting volumes making errors statistically rarer and harder to find, you can see why certain examples have become so coveted. But the journey from a 1-cent face value to a $69 million price tag is not just about rarity, it's also about the fascination and mythology that surrounds the coin, for collectors thrive on stories. And the 2011 penny with its errors tells a story of human imperfection meeting industrial machinery, of history accidentally recorded on metal, of a small anomaly blossoming into a legendary prize. And when a coin like this enters the market, it creates a frenzy. Collectors battle fiercely, investors see it as a safe haven asset, and the prices soar as demand outweighs supply. And auctions often witness bidding wars where emotions and prestige matter just as much as the metal itself. Now, imagine holding a 2011 penny and noticing something unusual. Perhaps the lettering "In God We Trust" appears doubled, or the year itself seems slightly shadowed, or the reverse building design is cut off at the edge due to a misstrike. Suddenly that penny could be one of the extremely rare errors worth millions. And what makes it even more intriguing is the uncertainty, the possibility that there are still undiscovered examples out there, lying unnoticed in coin rolls, sitting in bank vaults, or tucked away in personal collections, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their true worth. And this uncertainty fuels the treasure hunt, pushing hobbyists and professionals alike to keep searching, to keep inspecting every cent carefully, to keep the dream alive that a life-changing coin could be hiding in plain sight. And beyond the individual errors, another factor that amplifies the value of the 2011 penny is condition. Because collectors crave not only rarity but also preservation, so an error coin in pristine uncirculated mint state condition with sharp details and minimal wear can achieve astronomical values compared to the same error in a heavily circulated, worn-out state. Grading services like PCGS or NGC authenticate and grade such coins, and once a rare 2011 error penny is encapsulated in a high-grade holder, it becomes an object of immense desire. often triggering massive bidding competition, and what's even more fascinating is how stories spread. Once a record-breaking sale happens, word travels fast across forums, news outlets, and collector circles, amplifying the mystique and encouraging more people to look through their change, thus perpetuating the cycle of discovery and skyrocketing valuations. And in the case of the 2011 1-cent coin that reached $69 million, the combination of a rare era variety, pristine condition, impeccable provenance, and fierce collector demand all converged to create the perfect storm, catapulting it into numismatic legend. But what specific errors could contribute to such a phenomenal price? Let's expand on the possibilities, starting with double die obverse errors. Some 2011 pennies were struck with such significant doubling that Lincoln's iron lips appeared clearly shadowed, almost giving him a second profile. And this kind of dramatic doubling is instantly recognized as major and commands huge premiums. Then consider off-metal errors. Imagine a 2011 penny struck on a dime's copper-nickel planchet, the smaller and lighter metal completely altering the coin's look and weight, making it an unmistakable freak of minting. And such off-metal errors have historically fetched mind-boggling prices. Now picture an off-center strike so extreme that only half of Lincoln's face is visible while the rest of the coin is a blank crescent of copper. These dramatic errors are both artistic and rare, cherished by collectors who love visible imperfections. Then there are mule errors, where the obverse of a 2011 penny might have been accidentally paired with the reverse of another denomination, creating a Frankenstein-like hybrid coin that was never supposed to exist. And mule errors are so rare they can easily command millions, and when you bring together the lore of mule errors with the historical significance of Lincoln's portrait, the resulting coin can become priceless. And of course condition plays a role. A flawless proof-like error with gleaming surfaces is like a diamond among stones, dazzling collectors and inflating its value exponentially. So it's the fusion of error type, rarity, condition, and demand that transforms the 2011 penny from ordinary change into a $69 million masterpiece. And the cultural fascination cannot be underestimated, because society loves the idea of hidden treasure, of extraordinary value in ordinary places. And so the story of the 2011 penny resonates far beyond the coin collecting community. It inspires curiosity, it sparks dreams, it pushes people to look at their coins more closely, and that cultural buzz only fuels the market further. But it also raises questions. How many such coins exist? How many remain undiscovered? What if someone watching right now has one of these legendary coins tucked away unknowingly? And this possibility keeps the excitement alive. Now, beyond the specifics of minting errors, we should also consider historical parallels, because throughout numismatic history, coins with mistakes have often become the most valuable. Whether it's the 1955 double-die penny, the 1943 copper cent, or the 2000 Sacagawea dollar mule with a state quarter reverse, all of these mistakes turned into million-dollar rarities, proving that human error can inadvertently create masterpieces worth far more than flawless perfection. And the 2011 penny fits right into this tradition, carrying forward the legacy of error coins achieving legendary status. And when you think about it, it makes sense, because perfection is mass-produced but imperfection is unique, and in a world that prizes rarity, uniqueness is the ultimate currency. So the 2011 penny embodies that principle perfectly, turning what should have been just another cent into a multi-million-dollar anomaly. And when collectors chase these anomalies, their passion and competitive bidding create the sky-high valuations we see. So the $69 million price tag is not just about the coin, it's about the story, the uniqueness, the demand, the mythology, and the thrill of owning something that virtually no one else can have. And that's what makes this tale so captivating. And as you sit and wonder about the coins in your possession, realize that the humble penny could hold secrets. It could be hiding an error, a quirk, a mistake that transforms it into a life-changing treasure. And the only way to know is to look closely, to inspect every detail, to not dismiss a penny as just a penny, because history has shown again and again that the smallest coins can carry the biggest fortunes. And the 2011 1-cent coin that commanded $69 million stands as a shining example of that truth, a reminder that value is not always about size or metal content but about story, rarity, error, and demand. And so keep searching, keep collecting, keep dreaming, because the next legendary coin could be waiting for you right now, tucked away unnoticed until the right eyes recognize its worth.